you've got to press play and watch that, okay?
Jonny, I love watching you play rugby.
I think his superpower is his non-conformity.
Jackson's lucky to have you as his role model.
Wow, I didn't quite realise this was going to be quite like this today. All of a sudden you go from just playing at the weekend and being over the moon to be on the pitch to all of a sudden realising, oh, you're actually being compared to every other guy in the league. It's probably not a good idea to mess around like a chicken anymore.
Here comes Jonny May. He's got Eastman, that's all, Jonny May.
I got the ball and I just went for it. I honestly needed that moment and it came right in the right way and right at the right time. My head was a pressure cooker and a lot of steam came out.
Hello, welcome to another episode of How Rugby Made Me with our very good friends at British Airways. And today we are in the quite glorious surroundings of Royal Wootton Bassett Rugby Club. And we're here to catch up with one of England's highest flyers of the last 10 years. He is a man who pushed his body to the limits and at times his mind. And as he edges towards the end of his rugby playing career, he is moving from star of pitch to star of social media, having joined us in the Good Bad Rugby studio earlier this season. It is, of course, the one and only Jonny May. Let's see if we can go and find him. Here is the man himself. He's turned on the sunshine. I've got to start by saying what an incredible club this is. Give us a little trip down memory lane as to what this place means to you, how much you learnt here.
Yeah, so this is Royal Wootton Bassett Rugby Club. It's changed a lot since I was here, but I did play on this pitch a lot. This was my grassroots club. I played here from 5 to 16 years old, so it's a huge part of my rugby journey and where I fell in love with the game and made so many amazing memories.
And your dad was heavily involved as well. Did he used to have to sort of boot you out on a Sunday morning to get you down here? Was he trying to calm you down? What sort of a dad-boy relationship did you have in your early years?
No, I think he obviously was buzzing that I love rugby, but my earliest memory was throwing the ball in the garden with him and saying, when can I come down the rugby club? And that was at 5 years old when we came here. My dad was heavily invested. He'd run touch, he'd drive the minibus. He wasn't the main coach, but he'd pick up the cones and stuff. He even did, at this league, at this level, sometimes referees wouldn't show up, and that would mean the game was cancelled. So he actually did his refereeing qualification so that if that happened, he could step in. I think he had to give me a yellow card once.
Wow.
So that was interesting.
Should we go and have a tour? We'll have a bit more of a chat. It's very nice to be here. Jonny, let's go and have a wander.
Let's go.
A heck of a clubhouse, isn't it?
Yeah.
What we've got is obviously a lot of England shirts. Neil McCarthy, a few from underage group as well. We've got a couple of Lions, but I did want to pick out this one here. An old friend, really nice. Have you always been comfortable as the cover star? Match programme, England under-20s?
Yeah, these under-20s games were actually played at Kingsholm, so that's probably why I made the front cover. So yeah, young Gloucester player.
What do you remember of being an under-20s player? Did you love it and think you were the real deal? Or were you quite nervous?
No, it was all very exciting and all sprung on me. I didn't play any age group rugby, so this was the first time I would have been wearing an England shirt. And yeah, special to be playing at Kingsholm as a young Gloucester player with my family and friends there. But to wear an England shirt for the first time was just all very, very exciting.
14 years on, you haven't aged a day, but I think the shirt has aged a little bit. You've brought a newer one in. Should we go and find the chairman, Chris? Let's give him a bit of an upgrade. Come on, Kat. Nice to see you. How are you? I'm Alex.
Not too bad.
And you'll remember this young man.
Jonny, good to see you again.
Thank you so much for having us.
No, I'm glad you were able to come down here, actually, see this new club of ours.
Very, very swish indeed.
Not bad.
It's had a bit of an upgrade since he was tearing around here, I imagine.
And the pitches had a bit of an upgrade since he was there as well. Probably up to his ankles in mud, I would have thought, in some of our old pitches.
How proud are you of what he's achieved?
Well, you know, we're a fairly young club. We were only formed in 1971, so Jonny's our first sort of full international. So, you know, you can't beat that really, can you?
Yeah. We're going to obviously get into your memories of being here, but before that, you've got a little something.
This is, I've seen my 20 shirts up on the wall, but with the new clubhouse, here's a proper England shirt from my test match against New Zealand in the autumn 2022. So this is just a thank you for everything Wootton Bassett's done for my
That's brilliant.
That's brilliant. Cheers.
Should we? We'll hold it up like a footballer doing a transfer. Hold it up, and we'll get a nice picture, which we can hang on the wall as well.
The under-20s one has still got the mud on it. So has this got the mud on it?
It does.
Or some blood on it as well?
It's a real worn shirt.
Oh, well done.
The stains don't come out.
I love that. Fantastic.
White, I suppose, really.
That is a good photo. Very nice to see you. Thank you for having us.
That's all right.
We'll continue our talk. All the best. here we are on the inner sanctum, and we've got a lot to talk about because this is very much about you and your journey within the game of rugby. But before we do the talking, I want you to do the watching. So we've got a little something for you.
Wow.
You've got to press play and watch that, okay?
There he is.
Hi, Dada! We just want to start by saying how much we love you.
Jonny, congratulations. I love watching you play rugby.
I think his superpower, I realise now, I didn't realise it at the time when he was growing up, is his non-conformity, and it was there right from the start.
Jonny May, England put a tux on for you for this, mate, so just want to congratulate you on a great Gloucester and England career. You've come a long way. I never thought the man that I caged as a chicken in his house would then go on to be my landlord when I was at Leicester, but it's funny how things work. But as a rugby player and as a man, you're outstanding, mate.
There's a lot of memories in there, from the day you walked into the pits the first time to being a chicken. Oh my goodness. Keep entertaining people. Keep being wacky and crazy, because we love that.
I think this is why I'm enjoying the Good, the Bad and the Rugby podcast so much, is because you are actually very funny and entertaining, and we're getting to see that side of Jonny now. You can relax a bit that you're off the centre stage.
It was a privilege and honour to coach you, mate, and I've never found a player who was so strong about wanting to get better all the time. I remember we had a discussion about developing a left foot grubber, and then after training every day for that year, you'd run around the field practicing your left foot grubber, and it ended up being a productive part of your game. You know, strong in the air, courageous, and his own man, which I think, in today's rugby sometimes is difficult.
I know how much hard work and sacrifice and how difficult it's been for you at times, but I think the testament to you is how consistent you've been over them times, in your preparation, in your professionalism. I've never met anyone like it. I've never seen a team that like it either.
You've kept your chin up and just got on with it and remained professional and hardworking, and I really admire that, and I'm very proud of you for that.
You are the most amazing rugby player I ever met.
Jackson's lucky to have you as his role model. What an amazing way to end your England and Gloucester career, with Jackson there to experience it with you. We're lucky we've got these memories with him on the pitch to last forever. Yeah!
Wow.
I watched that and got dusty. We were fascinated to know how you'd react to that.
No, I probably should have read the brief. I didn't quite realise.
Never read the brief.
This was going to be quite like this today, but what a special thing to have watched there. Amazing.
Bit of a gear change.
Yeah.
Does it feel quite sort of real at the moment where you're at? I mean, you've obviously still got another chapter to come, but you come almost back to where it all began. You've achieved so much almost within the walls of this area, and there's obviously a journey and a story still to be written. But are you a nostalgic bloke? Do you get sort of sentimental about these things?
Yes and no. I think what my mum said is quite like, especially the England stuff has been a big weight lifted off my shoulders, and I'm starting to maybe, I still want to do as best I can, and I always will do, but I'm managing to be a little bit more relaxed with it, have a bit more fun with it. Like, I would never have done stuff like the podcast 5 years ago. I wouldn't have dared done that. So it's been quite liberating to like I've said, it's a huge privilege to play for a country, but also a big pressure as well. So that weight lifted off my shoulders. I only feel good about my time playing for England, and I'm just very grateful to have been able to finish it on my terms.
Often people find it easier to record messages than to say them in person. I mean, are those things that you've heard before from the people in that video, or are there new bits in there?
No, it's all stuff they would have said to me, or I'm aware they think of that of me, but all those people, even to see it, rugby's amazing, isn't it? To the people that you meet along the way and the friendships you make, and to even see somebody like Freddie Burns pop up there, what a bloke he is.
He mentioned the chicken. Tim's mentioned the chicken. We've heard a lot about the chicken, but never from you.
It started with, we had a secret Santa at Gloucester Rugby, before HR became a thing, probably.
Right.
So some of them aren't going to be allowed to be discussed, but I basically ended up somehow getting a chicken in a box for Secret Santa, and it came out. It had laid 2 eggs in the box. It was running around the team room. Our head coach, Carl Hogg, he was petrified that we'd had it on our phones and it couldn't get on Twitter because we've got a chicken running around the team room. And I was only young, but like I was clucking like the chicken. And then all of a sudden I've gone from having a Secret Santa chicken to clucking like a chicken to being possessed by a chicken. Johnny thinks he's a chicken.
Right. You were ahead of your time in that.
Yeah.
In many ways, identifying as a chicken.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But do you know what? Anything to get the respect or attention of the senior players at that time, they seemed to like it. So that encouraged me along, didn't it?
Yeah. Do you remember the process of becoming an international player, what that was like for you, sort of almost mentally as much as anything, and the pride, the excitement of those around you?
Before you know it, like I said, you go from just being a kid and playing at uni and having a laugh with these guys, and all of a sudden without really knowing it, you've broken through, and there's chats about being involved with England and playing for England, and you still all can't really believe it. And yeah, it definitely, before I knew it, I was in a little bit too deep, or in a little bit more than I thought was possible in terms of pressure and expectation. And
how did that come about? What does that mean?
It means all of a sudden you go from just playing at the weekend and being over the moon to be on the pitch and just doing what you do, to all of a sudden realising, oh, you're actually being compared to every other guy in the league at this moment. There's people watching you and there's expectation, and now this is the pressure you're under. And it's probably not a good idea to mess around like a chicken anymore. So yeah, certainly I think from that point of like integrating into England and the pressure of playing for England, and subsequently, which will happen to any New England player, you come in, you maybe get dropped, you get injured, you've got to fight for your place. I did find that incredibly difficult and challenging, and it's funny listening to my mum, because she probably remembers me as like a bit of a class clown, to then basically get into 22, 23 and really becoming quite introverted probably for the next decade.
Yeah.
In terms of like, right, this is what this is. I'm in this now. This is what I want to do. And for me to do this, I'm going to have to really, really focus in.
Yeah.
Head down, mouth shut sort of thing. And I did change. Yeah, I definitely withdrew myself a little bit. Definitely had periods of probably being a bit depressed or anxious, which is perfectly normal. People experience those feelings at any particular time in their life. But it was a price I was willing to pay, of course it was, because I wanted to play for England and I wanted to become the best player I could be.
How did you get through those periods, those moments? Was that people?
Yeah,
talking?
Definitely. People like Fordy, my mum, my wife, my dad. Those are the people who really know. Like, people see you at the weekend, or your mates. There's not many people who really know what it's like, and they've seen it. They've seen the amazing highs, and the lows, and they've been. Without them, it was certainly the thick of the England career stuff, the 8 years or whatever it was, or well, it was 10 really. But once it got really serious, I really couldn't have done it without them.
Yeah. When you look back, and it's all still obviously very recent for you, but when you look back, I suppose, to the beginning, did you have the belief in yourself that you'd go on to become the most prolific try scorer England's had in the professional era, the second highest try scorer of all time, 77 caps, I think I'm right in saying? You know, some of the great moments in the last 10 and 15 years have had you in the league and for England at the centre of it. Did you know that was within you?
I mean, yeah, I always wanted, from a young age, I wanted to play for England and go on a British and Irish Lions tour and achieve the most amazing things that I possibly could have done. That was always an ambition, but certainly throughout it was always, okay, what have I not done good enough, and how can I be better?
Yeah.
It was never, oh, I've just scored this try against New Zealand and I've got my first cap, and it was never that. It was always either looking backwards and thinking, what can I do better, or thinking what's next and how can I be better for that. So there was never time to really think, oh, I'm going to do this, or I am doing this, or I want to do that. It was always what's just happened or what's next. So you sort of live in between these pillars of two judgments. You're certainly not present in the moment, which is not a pleasant place to live your life, but that's where I was. And that's what I felt I needed to do and a price I was willing to pay to try and improve.
Would you change anything?
There's no regrets. So the story is the story, and it's put me where I am and made me who I am, and I'm happy with that. I didn't go on a Lions tour. We didn't win out that final in Japan. But those challenges and almost traumas shape you and teach you and develop your personality and make you into a better person. And I feel like the fact that it's developed me on a personal level, and that I've got no regrets from the hard work I put in. I'm at peace with what's happened, even though I would have loved those things to happen. I'm at peace with the fact that they didn't.
It's a slightly different version of the same question, but do you think Sophie's enjoyed the journey, and your parents? And would there be any bits that they'd change?
Well, my dad just is like mad for it. Has he enjoyed it? He doesn't probably know. Is he as consistent in terms of just as up for it as he ever was? Yes. My mum and Soph, they're looking forward and they're enjoying this later stages of a bit less pressure and new chapters and new opportunities. My mum doesn't come to as many games anymore, so it's 50-50, and it's not that they don't support me or want me to do well, but it's tough. It's not like watching it when you're so heavily invested and you can see how it's impacted me and the stress of it all. I don't blame them for wanting to give some games a miss or just focus on other things really.
And Jackson just loves every minute of it?
Yeah, bless him. He doesn't know what's going on, and a lot of the games out in France last summer, autumn were night games, and what Soph did was just amazing in terms of looking back now, to go out as a mum for the first time with Jackson on her own and just follow me and the team around France, just so that I could have some moments and memories and pictures with him. We did a little feature with the team, like had a day filming and stuff, and to have that footage and those memories is so very special. So yeah, he came out on the pitch at my last Gloucester game at home. He was there for my, as it currently stands, my last game at Twickenham, which was against Fiji, which I got a try in that game, which was amazing, even though we lost the game. But he'll come to the Barbars game at Twickenham again. He'll be for that one. Yeah. So no, we even though he doesn't know what's going on, it's great to have him there, and those are pictures we'll be able to show him when he gets older.
Yeah, it's all there for him to enjoy in years to come. You mentioned the tries. I want to start with the one in 2014. You've actually brought the shirt in for show and tell. And so tell us about the try that, I'm going to sort of go big on it. It's sort of launched your career.
Yeah.
Not many people do to the All Blacks what you did.
I must have been my first touch of the ball, and I just went for it.
Here comes Jonny May. He's got Eastman. That's all. Jonny May went straight past Conrad Smith. Jonny May, what's he doing here? He is scoring. What a finish!
I honestly needed that moment, because I think that's what obviously bought me a bit of a license. I needed to show that I could do that, and it came right in the right way and right at the right time. I just went and running across the pitch, and I was petrified of getting put into touch. So I cut back in, and it wouldn't have mattered who was there. Yeah. I was gonna go for that. So that's the story of my first try, and probably me breaking through into a player that could be seen as an international quality winger, I guess.
From memory, it was a very angry celebration. In fact, that was almost a theme throughout most of your careers. You celebrated angry.
I mean, there was a lot, like I said, my head was a pressure cooker. So there's steam coming out when you score a try, for sure. In my head thinking, I need this. And then having the opportunity and taking that chance to basically, in my head, buy myself another week. I've always felt like, and I'm pretty sure it's the same for most people, but you really are on a pay-as-you-go contract when you're playing for England. You feel like you've got to earn that next week. You really are, for the most of us, one bad game or one moment away from losing that spot. So there is a lot of pressure, and when you score a try for your country, it's pretty special, and a lot of steam came out.
One of the things that's always been sort of said about you is your extreme professionalism. In fact, Hask said you're the most professional player he ever played with. Tin said he loved being your training partner. because you never cut corners, and even as a youngster you demanded higher standards from him. Tell us a little bit about where this sort of drive within that preparation space came from, how you managed to keep so consistent in that area.
Partly maybe like my personality. Like some people, I think it's partly almost in your DNA a little bit. Yeah. Like my dad's got a very consistent work ethic. I can be consistent. I can zone in and focus and get on and repeat. Like for instance, I don't mind doing the dishwasher and loading the dishwasher and doing the chores and being consistent with doing that. That's sort of like I find that I don't find that too challenging. Yeah. Because that's in my personality. So therefore, all the nibbly bits or niggly bits of rugby, whether that's your stretching or the things that are a pain in the arse to do, basically, yeah. I can get routine and comfort from that. So that gives me, for that moment in time, a sense of purpose and a sense of I'm doing what I need to be doing. And it's probably driven by not thinking I'm good enough or needing to be better, to be honest with you. Never being content, never thinking I'm good enough, always thinking I need to do this. And that is a fear of failure. That's certainly, I need to do this to improve.
Do you think you'll continue, once you stop playing, to be as diligent about the training and the stretching? Or
no.
Can you not wait to put it in the bin?
No, I won't. I don't feel the need to. I think, like I said, I'm starting to unwind a little bit and realise there's balance to be had, and that's important. So no, I won't take all of those things with me to what's next. But yeah, certainly I'm going to need some sort of discipline and routine, and it's the way I've been throughout my career. And the fact that I've done it for so long now, I compare it to like brushing your teeth. Like kids don't want to brush their teeth, do they? No. But when you do it every day, twice a day for a certain period of time, now I just brush my teeth because I'm an adult. It's the same as my rugby routine because I honestly have done it for so long now. I get to the club early, I do my hour of stretching, I do my recovery. I've got my list of resilience or bulletproofing I need to do. I know what skills I need to do. It's not really a chore for me anymore. I'm
going to clip that up and show it to my son and just say homework.
Yeah.
Needs to be done. It's a very good life lesson, that. Just get it done when you need to. From the sort of the diligence in that area to one of the things that's been really apparent, particularly the more we've done with you on The Good, the Bad and the Rugby, is just how much you are loved by your teammates, Gloucester, Leicester, England, etc. I know you sang the team song with England for a bit, but tell us about that. But at what point did you feel comfortable within that England environment? It's interesting you referenced the years where you thought, this is when I'm playing my best rugby. Did it take that for you to feel comfortable in that environment? Did you ever? Or was it from the off?
Well, like the goalposts move, don't they? So like I said, it went from getting in the team, scoring a try, making it you the number one winger. The goalposts are always moving, so you're never comfortable. Even when I was playing my best rugby for England and I felt like I probably am Eddie's first pick and I am playing good rugby, it was never enough. So again, I'm not in the present. I'm thinking about threats in the future or things that haven't gone right just the week before. But during that period of time, definitely I felt as comfortable as part of that. I did feel part of that team, it's fair to say, and made good relationships with teammates. And I do have a laugh, whether that's people with me or at me. You need
quite a wind-up match.
Yeah, I like winding people up.
Beginning to learn that.
Yeah, but no, rugby's a great. The fact it's a team game has some great qualities to it. Like rugby in particular, you need that diversity within your team. You need your Genjis and your Marlers and your Sinklers and people like me, whatever that is. You need your grumpy, strict people like Fordy. You need your competitive people like Faz. You need your laid-back people like Jamie George and Elliot Daly. You need all those guys. So do you know what I mean? We are all different personalities and different people, but we're all coming together for a common cause. We want to get better at rugby. We want to win games, and you make great relationships and friendships. And a great part of being part of a team, is those different qualities you have as a player, physically and technically and tactically, and then you need that chemistry in your personality as well. You need to click, and that England team was a great team. That team around that 2019 period, or when Eddie took over, like, we played some bloody good rugby. What a journey it was! What rugby we played! What a group of boys it was! And that team probably feels as much as it was probably more. That's as much as a club team to me, because you're there half the year and everything you're doing at club is to get there. And when we're with a lot of those boys have been in that group for a long time, years. So that feels like my how to say it, that's more consistent team and group of players. I've been around, and you're there at camp with them overnight for long periods of time. I've been with that group of players for longer than I have any other group of club team. So that group feels like my team, really.
You've mentioned Eddie a couple of times, actually, and we had some really nice words from him for you when we asked him for them. But quite a journey. How do you reflect on Eddie now? How would you greet him if you saw him today?
I think if I saw Eddie, I'd have a huge smile on my face. It would be great to see him, and I'm sure I will cross paths with him again at some point. And I've spoken openly about how hard he rode me at times and the ups and downs of that journey. But on the other side of it now, and looking back, everything he ever did was to push me and to make me better and other players. And that's the way he was. He would challenge you to sink or swim, and survive and then ultimately thrive. And he really did get the best out of me as a player. To think I am one of the quickest guys, or have been, and for him to tell me I'm not quick enough, and I need to get quicker, and it made me quicker to be, after the knee injury I had, and to be in my late 20s and early 30s still getting quicker, and being in the shape I was, and playing the way I was all down to him pushing me as a player. And not just how he pushed me, but how he pushed the team. And he really did get the best out of that team. We would have loved to have won out in Japan, but the way he drove the team, and the way he was never satisfied and always wanted more, and how he diligently prepared the team, and honestly the confidence and clarity you had under Eddie, and almost we joke it's his regime, and he was our master, and we did play some great rugby and make some amazing memories along the way.
Very glad you're at peace with it.
Yeah.
Just.
Yeah.
It has been a heck of a journey, really, hasn't it? And it's brilliant to have the shirt which probably launched your England career. I'm not sure you're looking after your 50th cap.
Like I said, it's all been in the loft.
You're ageing it, that is for sure. But I want to finish with this, which is a photograph that you've brought in. This is you on tour with Wootton Bassett, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which one are you, just out of interest?
I'm the one with the ball.
You are the one with the ball?
Yeah. My dad's on the floor, big grin on his face.
I mean, that is fantastic.
Yeah.
So we started this in here by playing you the messages of those that mean a lot to you and what they've said about you. But when you look at that now, what would you say to a young Jonny May?
Wow, what would I say? Like I said, I wouldn't have changed anything. The failings, the achievements, the ups and the downs, because it's made me who I am, and it's put me where I am now as well. So I'm at peace with the journey I've been on. But like I said, just probably learning that to focus on what you can control, and accepting that you can only control so much is probably two things that would have saved me a lot of stress. And then the thing that springs to mind looking at that is obviously just try and have fun with it, because that's how it starts. And at times it gets a lot and gets full on, but it's still a game. And look at me there. I've got the ball in one hand, expressing myself. My dad's on the floor, big grin on his face. I've got teammates there, coaches on the beach. I mean, they're the best times. They really are. When you start, I used to play out here on a Sunday morning, and the clubhouse was down the road at the time. And it's this amazing facility now. It's all changed, but of all the days, I don't know if people still do it or if you remember doing it, but the Easter tours you go on.
Yeah.
With your grassroots clubs, and that would have been one of these. You go and stay in Butlins in a caravan with your mum and dad and your mates, and you play a few games. and you run around on the beach and you go to the arcade and you drink slush puppies and you get hyper and you probably get a headache, and then you get up and play rugby the next day and you have a right laugh, and those really are the best times, and that's where you fall in love with the game.
Amazing. Do you know, it's been a real privilege to watch your journey. I think it's one of the most interesting of the last 10 years as far as international players are concerned in this country. It's been a real privilege to watch it. It's been a lot of fun to talk to you about it. Jonny May.
Thank you very much.
Good on you, mate. Really enjoyed it. Well done. To feel inspired for your next adventure, head to ba.com.